Hello and welcome to another Sophisticated Review. I'm D, aka Sophisticated Rex, and today I have two guests with me, Alyssa
Hello.
and Gabriel.
What's up?
And today we will be discussing the movie Captain America Civil War. And we will be reviewing the movie spoiler free first, then spoiler, and then we're going to compare them to the comic books, the parts, didn't were the same or not. And then if we have time, we will compare VBS and Civil War, much to, people's charging. Before we get started, I'd like to thank, our boss, Bob, for letting us use this room at the Hilton. And I'd also like to thank the Hilton for, the job and letting us use this room. So we get started. Gabriel, you go ahead. We're going to start with the spoiler-free first. We're going to go into details, but not too deep, where you can still see the movie and be excited for it. Gabriel, you go ahead.
I love the film. Truth be told, I will rate it right now that it's a powerful 9 out of 10. It is. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
So powerful stuff. I mean, the fact that it felt a little bit real. The realism was in there because of all the destruction they were talking about, and I like the fact that they actually connected from to Marvel, the first Avengers, and to the second one, and to the Winter Soldier film as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just a little bit, but like I said, it's a definitely must-watch film. I mean, no, if you're a good Marvel fan, then yeah, you have to watch it.
Okay. That's it. Nothing else?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I like the film. I like Winter Soldier better, and I like the comic book better. I didn't hate this film. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. Not the highest rating. As far as what I thought, what I didn't like, I thought the directing was really good. It was done by the Russo brothers. If you do know them, they are veterans of the show Community. They helped helm like the first season, and many other critically acclaimed episodes of there. Paintballs, if you've seen it, the Paintball episode was theirs. Really good episode. They did Winter Soldier, which, like I said, I like better, so they're already good in my book. And they're doing Infinity War Part 1 and 2, which I think they're going to change the title of. Directing was good all around. It wasn't a wasted shot. Really good. The action sequences were really good. There's actually quite a few in there, but the biggest is the airport sequence, which is a big geek out moment for everybody who's seen it, Marvel fan or not. It's, where the heroes clash. You've seen the trailer; they all run at each other. Really, really well done, really well shot. They could have turned that into like a chopped mess of just like things happening, but they do. It's very fluid. It works really well. I like it, and I think that's one that's cited as the most like prominent climax of the film. Really good. They handled all the characters well too. There was a lot of characters to handle. Each side had at least like 6 or 7 members, and not everybody got the same amount of screen time. With it's a Civil War. It's Captain America films. Captain America, Iron Man, and like Bucky got the most like screen time of all. Which like with falling behind them, probably like Black Panther got a lot of screen time, not as much. The villain Baron von Zemos or Colonel Zemos, whatever. They changed his whole origin story in this film. The other characters got small moments. Ant-Man, Spider-Man. Spider-Man got a pretty decent amount of time.
Yeah, he did.
But it handled very well. None like you already know these characters. They're already established, so you're not gonna be like, oh, well, I don't know who that guy is. I don't know who this person is. But when the little screen time they did have big moments that impacted the action or that story beat at that time. Pretty big. And it was handled very well. A lot better than BVS. Had to throw that in there. Black Panther's in the film, and if you do know his history, if you don't, he's from Wakanda, which is a fictional city in Africa for the Marvel Universe. Wakanda was brought into the conflict, I think, very organically. It wasn't like forced. They just pointed a map and said, "Oh, what's this city? It's Wakanda." Like they did. Like Ultron kind of threw Wakanda in there.
Yeah.
It had a reason for it, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good because he's made of vibranium. Yeah, that's where if you don't know, that's where vibranium comes from in the Marvel. And they're making it now in this cinematic universe, but in the comic book originally, that's where all the vibranium came from. It's a huge mine under the Wakanda that Black Panther owns exclusively. So they needed it in this film, and well, not this film, but in Ultron. But in this film, the Wakandans, it's brought in very organically. I will explain a little bit later, but I think it worked. It wasn't forced. You didn't just be like, oh, that's a stupid reason to have him in there. It worked really well. Also, Spider-Man's in the film. You've seen the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer, sorry. I don't know if you're living under a rock. But Spider-Man's in the film, and he's handled very well. Um, there's some stuff I'd like to say about him later, but for the most part, he's handled well. Like this is a cool Spider-Man. Like
No, no.
Gabriel doesn't like
Sorry.
this Spider-Man. I liked him. Lisa, you liked this
I
Spider?
liked
He was,
him.
he's
Yeah,
like,
This
he
is
was
Spice
pretty
again,
great.
just so you know. This is how Spice.
yeah, we're gonna probably argue about that. He was pretty good. I liked him in the film. His moments, his action sequences are good. They went more with the traditional Spider-Man. It wasn't like the original movie where he had the web shooters that come out organically out of his skin. He had
He had
the
a
canisters
little-
that he
yeah,
made,
yeah.
and he's a genius in this one. He made it himself. He fixed his computers, and I like this one. He's a lot smarter. He's 16 years old. He has an IQ that can get him to any college
He's
he
a
wants
whiz,
to.
yeah.
And I like this one. It's more in line with the I forgot the writer's name in the comic book. I think it was Dido. If you know and you're a Marvel fan, don't hang me. I'm sorry. I'm not a big Marvel fan. But it's more aligned to the older, like 1960s, 1970s comic books that they pull the origin from. And they just updated a bit. He was like I said, handled very well. Another character that was in this film, Black Panther, like I said, handled really well. They could have ruined that. They could have crashed and burned big time on Black Panther. There's so many things that could have went wrong, but it worked so well. The reasons behind the conflict, his reasons for staying in the conflict, and the side he chose, all works really well. It works. I think the Russo brothers did write it. If they didn't, whoever wrote it did a good job. Like I say, the writing is good, the directing is good. Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther surprised me too. Not as him being an actor, as him doing well. Like he's not African, so I was like, okay, they got another guy playing African. They could have got any African. Chadwick Boseman is not very well known. He had his big moment in Get On Up where he played James Brown, which if you look at the box office returns, not a lot of people seen. But he did get critical acclaim for his role, so I was like, this is an actor. I guess he can get better. He can get better. He did a very good job. His accent was, I'm no expert on accents. It was good for the most part. He tended to have an African accent, and he kept it up all through filming. Even when they finished filming, went home. So I guess that helped, lend an authenticity to this accent. It worked really well. Now, for the reasons why I didn't like about the film, which they're actually quite a bit, but this is not spoiler. The reason the Avengers are fighting is kind of stupid. It's better in the comic book, which we will, like I said, we'll discuss later. But this one, I didn't really
Connect
with. Yeah, I wasn't really. This could have been any other reason why. They should have stuck close to the comic book. They could have made the reason for the comic book work in this one. They just chose not to. And I saw what happened in Vienna. There's a big event in Vienna we will discuss that happened. I saw that coming from a mile away. I think when I first went in there, I was like, man, that's gonna happen. And I saw it, and I saw the beginning scene too. I didn't mention this. The beginning scene with the Winter Soldier when he carried out his first assassination, or not first assassination, but the first assassination that showed.
Yeah.
And there, I saw who that was like a mile away too. I was like, come on, it's not even. I don't know.
I know.
The way that they did
You
the
could have
scene.
just showed it in the beginning. Like I think most people in the audience should have known. Did you realize who that was?
No,
No?
yeah, I was like disappointed.
You know who it was?
Because the way that
Okay.
they did the scenes kind of hinted at
it
that.
hinted at it. And then when he opened the trunk, I was like, okay, that's obviously.
And I knew what those were too. I was like, oh,
Yeah, okay. Once it wasn't like a cosmic cube or any kind of gem for the Infinity Gauntlet, I was like, okay, I know who that is.
Yeah.
They could have did better with that. The fight, like I said, airport fight, the biggest moment, greatest moment of the film. It should have went a different way. There's two teams. If you've seen the trailer, one team has all people with powers: Vision,
Buff,
Iron Man,
The
Black
War
Panther,
Machine.
War Machine.
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch on the other team.
Yeah,
It's not
Scarlet
Captain
Witch is on
America.
Cap.
There's all these people with powers that should just run through the other team, which has people with no power. Oh, Spider-Man was on Iron Man's team
I do
too.
have something to say about that.
Captain America had his team. Captain America, Hawkeye. Scarlet Witch is
All
the
the
only one
squishy
with
people,
power.
basically.
Yeah, all Scarlet Witch is the only one with powers on that team, which it didn't go by the comic book. She's a lot stronger in the comic book.
I think that's just because she's just now kind of discovering.
Yeah, it's showing Ultron when she went crazy and just fucking
That was
turned everybody
later,
into
yeah.
dust and around her. In the comic book, she can do that times 100. So
Yeah.
they didn't take it that route in this one, which they could have went. And Vision is a lot stronger too in the comic book also. But like I said, the fight was real. It should have been one-sided. They had to nerf a lot of people, make them forget that they could do so many things just so the fight continue. Spider-Man, like I said, was good. He was unnecessary though. He has a bigger pivotal role in the comic book. And this one, his role's not so huge. They kind of just like was like, oh, I know a guy. We'll get Spider-Man. I was like, he didn't fit organically. But once he got in there, they found a way for him to fit. It's like jamming a jigsaw puzzle, and they're like, oh, that works. like it actually fits the puzzle. Like, oh, it works. It wasn't bad, but it just you could have did the film without him. It wouldn't have hurt the film, in my opinion. The CGI.
That's painful.
At one point, there was the $1 million CGI in there. Like if you remember Ultron, the first scene when they infiltrate the fortress, they cut some corners on the CGI. Hulk looked like he was made in a back alley computer. I was like, oh man, that was. But it was just that one moment. The rest of the CGI kept on par. This film had a few moments where the CGI got bad. For the most part, Spider-Man's CGI looked. His outfit that was CGI. At some points when we got up close, it wasn't CGI, but when they shot, the shot was like wider and more from a distance. He was a CGI He was a CGI costume, and you can tell that was like edited in the last second. They just threw that in there. These are reshoots. You can tell, and the CGI looks bad. It looks like Green Lantern bad CGI. I was like, holy shit, that's awful. But like I said, he works for the most part. Just a small gripe on my part. Nothing huge. They'll fix it next time. I'm 100% sure. They just didn't have time. They got the rights to him at the last second, and Marvel was like, "We need him in the film. Throw him in there. We got his rights." So whoever the CGI team was, I think the CGI team was Lucasfilms.
Was it really?
Yes, Lucasfilms
You think they
Studio.
did a better job?
Yeah, they're known for doing bad CGI. I remember episode 1 through 3; those are terrible CGI. And the remakes of the original trilogy, they did the CGI in this one, and you can see where they cut the corners at the last second. I don't know if the budget dropped or what, but Tony's armor too was pretty lame in this one. If you remember from Iron Man 1 through 2, his armor is like really strong. He takes like tanks and he lifts up cars and he's throwing people, he's taking bullets, and it affects him, but it doesn't stagger him. His armor doesn't chip off, nothing like that. And in 3, less said the better. That movie fucking sucks. I swear to God. If you read Extremis, you know how bad the Extremis storyline, how much they ruined the Extremis storyline in Iron Man 3. I won't say too much about that, but Avengers, his armor was like really fucking strong. He's taking down the giant hydras that were flying through the sky. He's taking them down. He was fighting like all these big things. His armor wasn't weak. It wasn't chipping off. It wasn't getting destroyed. He had a full suit at the end still. And then you got Age of Ultron, where his armor was really strong there too. And now in this one, his armor was so weak. He didn't get punched like one time by like Captain America's fist, and he'd stumble. I was like, come on now, it's his fist. It doesn't make any sense. That's the problem with non-superhero heroes fighting heroes. You got to nerf them or turn them down just so the hero can be the non-powered one can look good, which I think is so fucking unnecessary. And at the end, the post-credit scenes, the last one was really lame. There's two end credit scenes. There's a mid credit, like there when they introduce all the main characters, like Robert Downey Jr., Steve Evans. They say all the names, and then it cuts to black and shows a mid credit. That one has a little impact of like it makes you think, oh man, I can't wait to see the next movie. How is this gonna work, or how are they gonna make this work? It adds a little brevity to it, and it makes you think. The last one, after all the credits roll, there's a last one. We'll tell you later, but it just doesn't matter. It was just thrown in there at the last second. It doesn't affect the story.
Nope.
It doesn't change the story. It doesn't add It doesn't add anything to that character. It just was thrown in so people can be excited. Like, oh my god, I'm excited. But you're already excited for him when you've seen the film. Like if you've seen the film, you are excited for him. Or unless you're Gabriel, who wasn't excited for him. But it's like, come on now, it wasn't necessary. Well, those are my spoiler-free thoughts now. Listen, if you have anything else, go ahead.
I'm gonna start off saying that I recommend this movie. I give it a 9 out of 10, and I'm definitely gonna go see it again. I'm
gonna see it once and that's it.
That's messed up.
Not because it sucks. I just don't really.
I'm gonna see it again.
I'm a pretty big like MCU cinematic universe fan for the Marvel, but I'm a
fan of MCU too, just not comic books.
Yeah, comic books, but I mean, I'm sure I know they're great, but I've never
Yeah,
really
they're
invested my
blowing
time in
DC
them.
out the water to me. I read the reviews and the sale wise and review wise, they're blowing DC out the water. No offense to DC fans, I like Superman. That's it. I like DC or Marvel. I'm not taking a side. It's in the Civil War with me and them either.
Yeah.
I just don't really care for the big studio heads and the way they do the comics. Sorry, go ahead.
I have a lot of things to say about the airport scene, which you'll have to wait till later.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well executed. I thought they balanced all the characters really well because people forget that this is a Captain America movie and not an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
So it's they're expecting more of Tony and they're expecting more of the Scarlet Witch and Ant-Man and everybody else in their team, like the Falcon and War Machine and everyone else.
It could have been Avenger
And
though. They did a better job than Ultron. It was carrying the Avengers.
in my opinion, they should have made it kind of their own Avengers movie and then saved made
Avengers
a had a
2.5.
had a different storyline with just Bucky and Cap, and you could still include some of, because Captain America is an Avenger, so obviously you're gonna have to see some Avengers in the movie. But I think that Civil War storyline could have definitely waited. Like it didn't have to happen now.
They could have, yeah. They should have added characters from the TV show. I wish they would.
Yeah,
had
the main reason is just because there weren't as many people. Like I know a lot of people is kind of hard to juggle, but you don't even have to have them in. You can just honorable mentions, but
or have them do something cool, like punch another hero in the face or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So they really I think they could have waited for this until they introduced more characters and more superheroes to be affected by the Sokovia Accords, because right now the Sokovia Accords in our mind in this universe, in the cinematic universe, only affects Team Cap and the Avengers. It only affects the Avengers and Spider-Man.
Punisher,
and you don't really you in your mind you don't imagine that there are any other metahumans that exist right now. So that's kind of they're definitely out there, but that's kind of something they needed to point out before they introduced Civil War, in my opinion. But overall, I thought it was a great movie. Did characters well. Airport scene was awesome. Spider-Man, I understand why they put him in there because they're gonna have a movie out, and it didn't feel like this was it. To me, it didn't really feel too out of place. When they brought him in there, the only
not too out of place. Where are you living
when
at?
he was when they introduced him, I was like, where did this guy come from, right? But he fit in.
Yeah, Queens.
He fit in when he did join the team, and when he was there fighting, he wasn't why are you here? It was more just for fan satisfaction, really. It wasn't really something you needed to have in there, but it wasn't bad that he was in there, is what I mean. So that's my opinion right now for the spoiler-free review. I did like how they implemented, the New York and Sokovia and Wakanda and all of the other places and all the big events, and I do think that it was kind of we'll talk about it later, but that's basically what I have to say for non-spoiler review.
Okay, those are thoughts, non-spoiler thoughts on the film. If you plan on seeing the film and you don't want to spoil, this is the time where you cut the video, go to your local theater, go watch it, or whatever the hell you do. Some people bootleg it. You shouldn't. You should actually go pay to see this. You should have bootlegged BVS. That's the one you shouldn't see. If you wouldn't pay for that, shame on you.
I paid twice to see that.
Shame on her. Shame on you. You shouldn't pay for that one.
Yeah.
This one, go pay and see. Like I said, this is a spoiler review. Last warning, we're going to go into great details, every detail. We're not going to spare anything. So get out of here if you want to see it and you want to keep your mind fresh. Yeah. All right, Gabriel, spoiler, go ahead. Go to as many details you want.
All right, then let's like I said, from realistic to the battle to to the ending as well. It did feel it was very just good from how it started to how it ended. I'm glad that they finally mentioned all those, all the destruction from the New York, Sokovia, and then the new strategy, which was the Legos, right?
Oh, Legos. Yeah, the strategy there.
Legos, because, like I said, the Avengers team is not like they finally showed that they're not completely perfect. That they literally tried their best, but it's still not good enough because, as you can tell, when that explosion happened, Scarlet Witch she tried her best, but unfortunately, she just.
Yeah, well, she did try her best. I understand where that one came from.
Yeah, that one was especially hard hitting just because like not. I'm assuming that the Avengers and Age of Ultron and Captain America are kind of like a year apart. Just
I think they say the time. I can't remember
I don't.
how
Yeah, I
long
don't
it
remember.
is. I
I
think
know
it's a
that
couple months though. I don't
a
think it's that
couple
long.
months. Really?
Is it? I can't.
Well, I'm
We'll have
not
to check
sure,
on
but
that.
regardless, like it's still a short amount of time where she's just lost her brother, like who
Yeah.
she has been
And she
living
hasn't had
with.
her powers that long either.
And she hasn't had her powers that long. She's just lost her brother, her twin brother, who she's been with through thick and thin. Like they lost their
parents together.
at 10 years old. I believe it was 10. And they've been through everything together. And then she loses him in this battle, which is partly their fault as well. So I think that she's really trying to battle against: is she really human, or is she this monster, or is she this someone to be feared? And in the movie, I don't know, I'll let you speak in a second. In the movie, like they Vision, I really like the relationship between Vision and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
it
the
did
comic
not
book
feel forced.
they are a couple in
Yes.
the comic book. That's why it feels it doesn't feel forced like
Because-
Romanoff and
Exactly,
Hulk. That was
because
so stupid.
Romanoff and Hulk had nothing in common, and
all of a sudden they're a couple.
all of a sudden, and Vision
This one
and
started
Wanda,
slow.
they hint things that they might have in common and concerns that they have in common. But like in the entire movie that Scarlet Witch is in there, Vision is always speaking about how he doesn't want the society to view her as someone to be feared because of her powers, and I don't think that she's really in control of everything just yet. And so she's even unsure of, like, she's probably even a little bit afraid of herself as well.
Yeah.
And they kind of hint at that. So that's why I think that she didn't play too much of a big role when she was in those fighting scenes, because one, she hadn't developed her powers just yet. Two, she was still afraid of everything that she could do because of what happened in Age of Ultron and the bad decision she made there. Three, because Vision was there, and he's probably like the most innocent person there, in my opinion, and I can talk about that later.
He's logical.
But like, he himself is trying to discover his own humanity and where he fits in place.
Yeah,
and I think that in the airport scene, like, that's why the fight didn't like end so quickly, because you do have these tanks all on one side, and you do have these really human squishy people on the other side.
That's how you label us, huh? Squishy.
And but like at the same time, they're fighting against each other, their family, and they don't want to hurt each other. And you can see, with Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton, they're like, we're still friends after
Black
this,
Widow
right?
and Hawk,
Like we're
for
still
those
okay.
who don't know.
Like Black Widow and Hawkeye. You can see that, they're having this internal struggle, and same with Vision and Wanda, they're having this internal struggle of, we don't really want to harm you, we're just trying to
subdue you.
We're just trying to stand up for what we believe is right, like what our approach is for this problem. So I think that was a big reason for why that airport scene didn't last that long. It didn't last. Didn't end so quickly.
Yeah, it lasted long.
Vision really struggled just to hold back, as much as possible.
Yeah, because he's really strong.
He is strong. He's ridiculous strong.
Another thing, like, he is strong, but at the same time, he even says himself he doesn't know what the Mind Stone is.
Yeah, because he's trying to control him and stuff like that.
And he doesn't know how to control it just yet. Like, he has, like, he can do the beam, and he can phase and do the density manipulation and do all of that. But at the same time, he's trying to figure out, like, am I supposed to be this overruling person who just stops every problem that these humans on this earth has, or do I need to let them solve their own problems and just kind of help out, and just, if this is my opinion, just stand on this side and kind of be there for support? And I think he's trying to really, like, kind of figure out, what is my role in this world now that there isn't this big force of Ultron, and it's just fighting against, basically, to him, fighting against humans. Like, they're all, metahumans, whatever, but they're all, like, humans. And so he's just really trying to figure out, like, I'm this all-powerful being, and I'm kind of omnipotent and all this stuff, but, like, at the same time, it would, like, again, you can't pit human against God, and he knows that. Like, he is self-aware of that, and he knows that I am really powerful, and I could crush these people really easily, but I know it's not the right thing to do. It's kind of what I'm getting from there, and, like, why it didn't end so quickly is what I think. Anyway, continue.
No,
One quick fact.
This is good.
Yeah.
It is a year later. I looked that up.
Yeah, I assumed it was a year later.
I'm sorry,
like,
I didn't.
The kid is a year old. Like, he's a baby. Come on.
Who's a year old?
Vision.
Okay, he's a little baby. Okay, I see.
Happy birthday, Vision.
But no, he's Jarvis. But he's Jarvis.
I know, he was born into a war. No, he's not, though.
He is Jarvis.
He says he's not Jarvis and he's not Ultron. He just has the information and...
But he has it stored. So he has years of Jarvis's living stored in there. He's only years old like
Yeah,
being
yeah,
born,
no,
but
no,
his
yeah.
mentality, why he still has Jarvis.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
just
very
say-
smart. He's like I said, he's omnipotent, so he does know that, but he doesn't know like the way humans work. Like he doesn't know how he's supposed to act. Like
He's still
in
an
the,
AI.
in the first season, like not first season, in the first scene with Wanda and Vision, he phases through the wall, and she's like, "Vision, what did we
use the
talk
door,
about? Like you
yeah.
have to use the door." He's like, "Yeah, but the door is open,
I
so
thought it
doesn't
meant-
that mean
yeah.
I could like
See,
anyone's free to come and
I
go?"
think
So
he's
he's
a
still trying to
child.
learn.
Nah, I
customs.
see. You're right.
Like
You're right.
as far as humanity wise, he's like a kid. Like everyone
Yeah.
around him, like Tony is his father.
He doesn't know what faux pas are and what not to do and stuff like
Exactly, and like
Happy
he's
birthday,
still
baby.
trying to figure out emotions because in the airport scene, he gets distracted by Wanda because he's going to
that.
rush
And he
to
doesn't
the
realize
cut,
why he. Yeah.
and then later he realized
Yeah.
I didn't ever even think that was a possibility. I never thought that I could even be distracted by someone that I cared for. Like
Yeah,
that's
he wasn't
crazy.
I
Like
guess he's
so.
falling in love.
Vision's in trouble.
They know love is.
He's the daddy's gonna kick his ass. No.
Freaking War Machine though, like that's
yeah.
brutal.
Alright, it was brutal though.
Go ahead. You got anything else to say, Gary? We
Okay.
took the mic from you. Sorry.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
this is perfect because when I do have those things to say too, because I know
It's good
I'm in Team Iron Man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think we're all
And,
Team Iron Man, aren't we?
Yeah, but the thing is that
I'm
I finally
team split.
Oh my God.
Team split.
You
But
better
I'm leaning more towards Team Iron than I am Team Cap
Okay.
because
Okay.
I think that
She
it's
got one
ridiculous.
foot over the
Remember,
fence.
no fan fiction
One,
mixed
Never
in
give
here.
up
one
hope.
foot's still in the fence. The other half fell over on the Iron Man.
All right, no,
It's good.
All right, good. Okay, I am into Iron Man, but the truth is that after I see in the film, I understand why Captain America had to do this because it is. I to a friend that so lost and needs help. One, I understand now. I mean, you gotta help him out. I just don't like how he just managed to. He's like, you know what? I don't really care about you guys. I just gotta help my friend. Just right off the bat.
That kind
I
of
don't like that.
Well, it's like a brother to
Yeah.
him though. When he was younger, Bucky stood up for him. Remember in the first
Yes.
Avengers? I mean,
Yeah.
Captain America. Sorry, he got his ass kicked like a lot. And Bucky, even though he wasn't going down, like Steve Rogers still was pretty. He wasn't tough. He just could take a beating, and Bucky would step in.
Yep.
And Bucky was his
He was
best
always
friend.
there
for
He was
him.
always
Yeah.
there. So it's like having a brother when you don't have a family. He said ever since he was 18, he's been on his own. His family was never there. That was his family, and he knows it's not Bucky's fault. He said several times it wasn't your fault. They
Yeah.
brainwashed you. You didn't know what you're doing.
And
He's
even
like,
Bucky was like,
he's like, yeah, I
no.
remember it all, but
Yeah.
I couldn't stop myself.
Yeah.
But see, what you don't understand is that Captain America has his own responsibility. He's the leader.
He is the leader.
Of the Avengers.
Avengers.
By just doing that, because right now they're already in a
They should be-
situation.
okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Everybody in the country is like, hey, can you put the Avengers on a leash because we're worried here.
Yeah.
But he, on the other hand, he just literally jumped.
He
Hey,
forgot- he
I forgot
forgot-
about that. I need
Yeah,
to
He
go jump in.
forgot his responsibilities for his family.
Did not like that.
And because of that, it created finally put in Black Panther in there, and they
Yeah.
created a situation and all that. And I do like at least the reason why I do understand Captain America. I mean, considering that friends and all that, but I still just don't like the fact that he just I'm gonna jump the gun. Why not?
Yeah, that was
I did not like that. He went
Mm.
rogue, man.
real quick. It's like, man, I got
It was
friends.
so easy, but it was like, come on, like you've been with these guys for so long, you've been battling with them for so long, and so like, I don't know, that was really a difficult thing for me to grasp. Like I understand, I do understand Cap's side. Like that's your
Yeah.
friend, that's the guy that you grew up with, that's the guy who always stood up for you, and you fought in war with this guy, and then you thought you lost him, and then you see him, and he's been manipulated and tortured into this thing that you know that he isn't, and you just want to help him. But at the same time, like to me in this movie, it wasn't Team Cap versus Team Iron Man. It was more like Team Cap versus Team Iron Man versus the government. Like,
Yeah,
although
three-way split.
Tony was sided with the government, he didn't condone the actions. He just wanted there to be some kind of responsibility and authorization and some kind of like just order in what they were doing. Because if you think about like for those who are Team Cap, when you like in the real world, if someone made a weapon that was really strong and it could stop all these criminals and they just went guns blazing and destroyed all of these places, and right now like we have all of these threats and we don't have as much chaos as what's going on if you had someone who had this really big like weapon and just went around on their free will ignoring the government, ignoring the law, and then just going home and oh good, I saved the day. Like you wouldn't want someone like that running around like unsupervised. And that's all that Tony wanted was just some supervision. He didn't want the them being thrown into jail, but because that was part of the Sokovia Accords and because he stood by it, he had to stand by all of it or else it wasn't going to work. So, like, just that in general, like, making Tony out to be the villain was something that I did not like in this film because he is definitely not the villain in this film. Like,
he's not the villain.
It makes no sense. And, like, he even tells Steve directly, like, we're not going to put Bucky, like, I don't, like, personally, I don't want to put Bucky in jail. I want to put him in a psychiatric ward and get him help and, you know, have him under supervision because this guy is unstable. And it clearly shows him several times he's unstable and he can just, like, switch just from like,
the trigger words. The trigger words.
And so, like,
brainwash him.
He even, like, told Cap, like, this is what we should do. And Cap was like, nah. No, I think we're just going to run away and, like, you know, be secret lovers or something. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Secret lovers.
And
no fanfiction. No fanfiction allowed.
Give a kiss, huh? We're together. Our bromance lives on.
Exactly. That's what it felt like. Like, that's what it felt like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that. All right.
Yeah, I see what you're coming with the political angle. Like, we're not too political. I know I'm not too political, but like, if you look at it politically wise, Captain America has a very stronger point, like you said. You wouldn't want, like, cops nowadays, like, not to get too political, like the whole Black Lives Matters and things like that. If a cop runs around and kills somebody, there's no consequence. You're going to be pissed. People are pissed about it now because a lot of them get away with doing stuff like that. That's all he wants is like some consequences. You can't You can't have people with powers like that, and have, you know, if you got some kind of status over somebody, you're gonna abuse it. If you're human, you can't trust humans. They're gonna abuse their power no matter what. You need something to put these people in check, whether it's their problem or not. If a cop goes out and tries to stop a villain and blows up somebody's house, he doesn't get to walk away and go home and be like, blow some guy's house. The villain's dead, though. That's not how it works. He has to report to his boss. He has to write a report. He has to be under investigation. Things happen. He may lose his job. He may have pulled the trigger unnecessarily. He could have probably took the guy down unlethal force. He didn't have to shoot the guy. Things like that happen. This is always explained. The people who say Team Cap, they're more. I think people who say Team Cap are more like
friendship. Yay.
Well, no, I think they're just more along. They like Captain America more. I think that's all it is. A lot of you aren't looking at this politically wise. Like, it's a very smart film.
Yeah.
Like, the political undertone is very smart. It's very relevant to today's like life. Like, if you watch the news. There's a lot of things about powers not going, checked. There's a lot of people that the president does stuff he's not supposed to. The government, watches us, spies on us. They're not supposed to do that. The whole Apple situation. This addresses that in so many words. It's like, somebody needs to put these people in check, and it just addresses that. And lost my fucking train of thought there. And it's like, the people who are Team Captain America, they don't realize that's what it's about. They just like their favorite character. I'm Team Iron Man because I like Iron Man also. But it's like, when you think of it politically, like, if Captain America was right, I'm like, okay, I'm Team Captain America.
Exactly.
But these aren't real people. Doesn't matter what team you are. I'm just saying, like, I think Iron Man had a better. His point of view was better in this film, and much, much, much better in the comic book.
Yes.
In this one, he has, like, we're sticking to the film right now, but in this one, I see where he's come from. He's a little smarter. They didn't make it more about, like, identities or registration.
Yeah,
they made it more about, like,
just
putting a leash on him. In this one, Bucky Barnes' Winter Soldier started the whole problem. Like, everything was a snowball effect. All these events happening, and then Bucky Barnes supposedly did something. They framed him for something. Sorry, this is a spoiler review. They framed him for the explosion, and that's what set off the whole. These people need to be stopped. These people need to be checked. Somebody has to say something. It's not about a registration. So a little conflict. Like I said, I didn't really care for the conflict.
Yeah.
It wasn't as important, and it wasn't as relevant. It was relevant, but it's not as like.
Didn't have much of an impact.
It didn't have much of an impact. It had more of an impact than the comic book.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I'm sorry, I take the mic again, Gabriel.
No, that's good, because we do need to talk about that too, because look, from when you did talk about Captain America from the comic book, because truth be told, he looks seriously pissed.
Is that what the comic book is? Yeah. I was wondering where it was the whole time.
Yeah, he in the entire time, it's like he's really just pissed. Like, the entire time, I'm like, oh, you need to chill out, because here, more in the film, it's more like, he's focused on his friend and all that.
He's not man. He just
sad cap.
Sad cap. Hashtag sad cap. Huh?
I mean, look, from the way his team is holding up, because in the movie it was Black Panther, Vision, War Machine, and
Spider-Man. No, that's not Captain America. See, that's Tony Stark. Captain America had nothing but humans. Yeah, Hawkeye.
Yeah. Um,
Ant-Man,
He has Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch,
Winter Soldier. Yeah, there
Winter
goes our-
Soldier,
Winter
yeah.
Soldier, Sharon Carter.
yeah, Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter was there.
I don't think she was at the airplane.
She went at the airport, but she was on his team, but she
was-
went at the airport.
I just want to say, like, that fucking relationship weirded me the fuck out.
In the comic book, it's the same thing, except for it's the daughter.
That's
it's the
even worse.
the great granddaughter. It's not his daughter though. Like it's just like
That was
I'm
kinda
not saying
weird.
that. I'm just saying that they're related. So he's like, oh, I can't hit Peggy, so I'm gonna hit this instead.
Well,
Like,
she's 100 years old. I wouldn't want to hit that either.
No, but
he
I'm
loves
saying,
her though.
like, yeah.
He still loves her. He stayed by her
He
side
loves
before she
her.
died. It's just that she
But
wanted.
then Sharon Carter comes and he's like, oh yeah, okay,
gonna
get
move on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you don't have to move on to someone who's related to fucking Peggy.
He
dude.
loves her.
No,
How do you? But in the
It's
movies,
not right.
like they rarely have any interaction.
in Winter Soldier, it was
they were
the
neighbors or
they're
whatever.
and he met her every day. Every day they had talks.
Yeah, and that was
they
all
before he jumped
her.
out the plane. He's like, hey man, he's like, you ever think about asking that girl out? He's like, man, I ain't been out since 1914 with my barbershop
Yeah, I remember
quartet.
that, yeah.
It doesn't go into great detail, but they know each other. They pass by each other. They speak. Maybe he comes over for coffee. Maybe there's cookies or something. It doesn't go into great detail, but I don't think it's too
But
weird.
then when he sees her at the funeral and like she's like, oh, my Aunt Peggy is doing this. He's like, oh,
He was
dude,
like, you
they're related. You never told me.
related.
Then he goes, you never told me you were related. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, and then they just kiss. I'm like,
well, doesn't change the fact that he likes her. I'm sorry.
That
Like,
was just
yeah, there's a difference between right and wrong. Like this is just like anti-Cap right now. This is like the freaking opposite of Cap.
I think he does that in the comic book. He
No,
actually,
I just feel like
knows.
like the vibe like that the cinematic universe is giving us.
I don't
about the comics,
I don't have
but,
a problem with it. I liked it.
I kind of have a problem with that
That's
too.
just so weird.
It's just not right.
It's so
Think about
weird.
it. You know what? It's right away. It's like it was focused in the funeral. It was focused.
It's
I mean,
so weird.
It's weird. It is.
So weird.
You don't go.
But then you don't,
Yeah,
because
you
then
know,
if Peggy was like 100 years old and she was still like if it was before the funeral and like she knew or Cap knew that Sharon Carter was related, do you think that he'd be comfortable going to Peggy and be like, hey, I'm dating your niece? Like,
I think that would come up. I think he would.
but I don't
say
think
it.
he would be comfortable with admitting
Okay.
that.
Oh God, no.
Exactly. He's like, oh yeah.
Well, she was
I'm dating
senile
you.
anyway. Remember, she started losing her mind.
So that makes it okay.
Yes,
then?
he's probably like,
No,
I'm dating your granddaughter. Next day, he's like, who are you again? She
Like
wouldn't
you
even.
have like a moral obligation to be like, okay, well they're related, so I know I really like her, but I have to step off. Like there's that thing
I
where
don't see
like
that. I wouldn't.
Oh,
If it was
God.
situation reverse, I'm 100 years
That's so
old,
weird.
and a girl I dated back in 1945 happened to be young again, having dated my great grandniece. I'm like, well, go for it. You know,
that's so
just
weird.
treat her.
There's-
Just treat
there are
each
plenty
other
of
right.
fish in the sea, man.
There you
It
go.
is.
There
But
it
that's
is.
what he likes. He didn't realize in the last second. He's
Oh,
like,
God, it's
I
so
still
wrong.
like you. It doesn't
Oh, but
change the
so if
fact.
they were like typically like, oh no, I still like you, so it's okay now. That's
Watch
what
my
I'm
anime.
It's
It's,
just-
okay.
It's
You
just-
watch Game of Thrones,
That's-
and you're like,
Yeah, see,
That's
Game of
not-
Thrones is okay with it. I think it's not really okay for that Game of Thrones thing. But they're not blood related. It's
No,
okay. You
see,
can't
that's not-
put blood where blood's not available.
That love interest is not allowed. That should not. That's not important. I really think that love interest is not important. Let's let you know because one is still weird.
It's not
and I-
interesting.
no,
It's not
weird.
important, but it's not weird. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
It's not.
They think it's
It
weird.
was-
I know.
They
Move,
put
let's
that in.
move on.
No, I
We
get it
gotta
though.
move on.
You know, Captain America's a lonely guy, but yeah, let's. Hey, you know what? Her granddaughter's there. Let's put it
Oh my
together.
He dates the
Matchmaking.
great granddaughter
Directors.
in the comic book.
Matchmaking.
And they look exactly the same.
That doesn't
Peggy
make it
Carter,
okay.
great granddaughter looks exactly the same. So it's actually different.
It's not okay.
Oh, okay. They think it's not okay. I know. Let's move on.
They're playing God. They can't
Okay.
do that.
Okay, let's get back on topic. Let me pick a different topic to discuss. We've been discussing the same topic for a while. Let me pick one.
Okay.
The airport sequence. Okay, let's
Oh,
talk
God,
about that. That's a
that's
big
a lot.
moment we haven't really gone in detail.
we have
It's
to
a
go
huge
through
fight. Team Cap versus Team Iron Man. Everybody fights. Team Iron Man has so many superpowered people. Team Cap has one. That's Scarlet Witch. In comic book, like we said, she's a lot stronger. She's not as strong in this one, so it made sense for her not to just wreck everything like she should have.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, it should have been over in 2.1 seconds. Everybody's human. Captain America and team. Everybody's human. They run. They have they run out of stamina. Forgot. I keep forgetting Falcon was on the team.
Yeah,
God damn it, Falcon. He can fly. And there's two flyers. Falcon and Scarlet Witch. They fly. Everybody else runs. They can run out of stamina. Other team, Iron Man doesn't run out of stamina. War Machine doesn't. Their suits run out of energy, but they're supposed to be damn near indestructible. A titanium alloy, which is not going to get destroyed easily. And you got Vision, which is he's a god, literally.
He's made of vibranium. Like his organs are
He
vibranium.
is vibranium. He's
And then
basically
also
God.
Black Panther's suit is vibranium.
And it doesn't get damaged by bullets. he took a bullet to the face, didn't phase him. It's like somebody was throwing paper
he pulled
at him.
Superman over there, like,
Yeah,
looked over,
he's like somebody
what?
throw some piece of paper at me or something. And then they have Spider-Man, which in this one they do the super strength and all that. He's very agile. Gabriel hates him.
I would like defend his suit. That
I like the suit
because people were saying, well, they gave him bad animation, like his wires, eyes splitting, like.
Well,
Tony
that's
Stark
in the comic
made his
book.
suit. Like first, like Tony Stark made his suit. It has mechanics in it. Like it's gonna be moving different.
I don't think this one has mechanics.
Because he even was. Well, I don't know. I think it does because like I don't know. I personally
it looked like cloth, or maybe it's a synthetic cloth because the webbing is like a synthetic metal cloth or whatever.
Yeah,
like it's like real strong.
What I'm thinking.
Maybe it is. I don't know, but I liked it. It harkens back to the original comic books. Like I'm not a big Marvel fan. I don't know about Spider-Man. I think the dude's name was Dido. He's the original. Like 1960, 70.
They did have a Teen Spider-Man. That's what I want to point out.
Yeah, the teen one. Yeah, it worked really well. I wish they gave him the Iron Spider outfit. Did you know what the Iron Spider outfit looks like?
The one with the little pincers.
Yeah, the things. Yeah, it's in the comic book.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
They nailed.
They should have gave that to him.
They should have given it to him
cool.
They might do it in Homecoming because Tony Stark is supposed to be in there. So.
Is he? Yeah.
Look,
I think he. Yeah. See.
Let me let you say right now.
It looks pretty cool.
The Spider-Man in the comic, he's badass. I'm not gonna lie to you. He
is.
I mean, he went through a lot.
This one isn't badass. He's goofy, but he's still cool. He's goofy, but it works well.
It does. It's a kid who joined Call of Duty.
He is a kid.
In the middle. I know. I don't like.
And well, here's the point there. He's a kid. This is a grown-up conflict. Captain America keeps telling him, he's like, man, you don't even know what the fuck you're doing here, man.
He's like, what did he even tell you?
What did he even tell? Yeah, and he's just going off Tony Stark's word blindly. But the problem is Tony Stark is. He doesn't have a father. Tony Stark comes in with billions of dollars, gives him money, tells him he's on the right team. He understands, like, I understand you have a secret. It's hard to hold in. He relates to him on a level. Like, it's hard. He's like, I gave my identity away. You're still holding yours in. He relates to him, so he jumps on his team quick. It's a little unconvincing, but you can see where it's coming from.
Yeah, because kids are gullible, first of all.
Yeah, he's very gullible.
Tony Stark is someone to look up to, and because Peter Parker is like this whiz that they did it in this movie.
Yeah, he's really smart.
He can, I'm pretty sure he looks up to Tony Stark, like, because Tony Stark is this really smart genius billionaire who's
and
very
inventive.
successful and inventive, and so like I can see why Parker would be, gravitating towards Stark. Either way, like even if he wasn't like Spider-Man, he would still like want to be under Tony Stark's wing. Like, that would be his dream thing to be Tony Stark.
It's obvious that the reason he's fighting is because he wants to impress Tony Stark.
That is a good point. He's got to make a good impression on Mr. Stark. He does say that in that fight.
God, I can't deal with that. I'm sorry, but he needs to go back to his child.
He doesn't like. I understand where he's coming from, though. He's not. It's entirely wrong. There's he could have did a better job of motivating him or something like that.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's a kid.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta look at it both ways. They are gullible, and it does a good job of showing how gullible he is. So when he meets Tony Stark, he's like flabbergasted. He's like stuttering. He's like, Mr. Stark. He's like, what are you doing in my house? He's confused. This guy's a billionaire. It's like if the president walked in right now. You're like, holy shit, the president walked in or something, or somebody you admire. I don't know, some billionaire. Fucking Mark Zuckerberg. I'd be like, holy shit, you're Mark Zuckerberg. This is the exact same situation, so it made sense. His fighting was pretty cool, like with the web sling, and he didn't like say his spider sense immediately, but you could see he's like, hey, my spider sense is tingling or something like that. I think he said it, and it goes off, and they throw a car or something at him. Excuse me.
Something that I didn't like as far as putting a kid in an adult thing, like they were just blasting him, like I'm like, dude, like please, like he's a little baby kid, like you need to go.
No, he needs to be taught a lesson.
He stepped in the grown man's conflict.
Right.
He needs
and then Cap drops an entire freaking the bridge thing that they used to board on.
Well, because he knew he'd catch it.
He knew he'd catch it, but at the same time, it's like you're just gonna this is a high school kid.
The thing is, he knew he'd catch it. And he knew he'd get it from under it. It'd take a minute, but even if he got crushed, he wouldn't die. He just punched away through the metal. He's punched through harder stuff, so it's just like a little thin trailer. He just punched through. I think it was okay. They did whoop his ass a bit.
They're just like.
All right, let's talk more about the fight.
I'm talking about Black Panther in the fight. Black Panther was badass. He had the vibranium suit. He had the vibranium suit and he had the vibranium claws. He was kicking he was mad. His deal was he wanted the Winter Soldier. The Vienna thing we talked about earlier, Winter Soldier got framed for blowing up the UN at Vienna. Prince T'Challa, which is fucking Black Panther's father. I can't think of Black Panther's real name. Chikilla. I think it's Chikilla and Chikala's his dad, and he died. So that passed the mantle of Black Panther down to fucking Black Panther.
Black Panther, yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, the Winter Soldier got framed, so he's just on a revenge kill. He wants him dead. He doesn't matter who gets in his way. He doesn't want to kill anybody else but Winter Soldier. But he's like, if you get in my way, I'll fuck you up. That's it.
Yeah.
He's gonna kick your ass. He tells Captain America many times, stand down. He's like, I don't want to hurt you. I want him. That's it. And he is badass. Suit's bulletproof. He can run super fast, super strength. Even without his suit, he still knows martial arts. Still kicks ass. They do a good job of, like I said, fitting him in there. We explained earlier when the Wakandans got blown up in Legolas, and that brought him to the situation. I thought that was really well handled, and he did a good job as being, Black Panther. And then who else got in there? I thought Hawkeye was kind of. Well, Ant-Man was really cool.
Ant-Man was great.
Yeah, let's talk about that though.
Ant-Man got turned to Giant Man in this one. If
Yeah.
you know the comic books, he can
New
turn into
Kingpin.
Giant Man. Yeah.
I kind of surprised as well about that one too because from the surprise, how do I say? I thought they were not gonna show it.
I didn't think they were going to do
Yeah, I
Giant
love
Man
the
either.
surprise
To
to
like
see.
Ant-Man 2. I didn't think they were going to do it to Ant-Man 2, but they put Giant Man in there.
Let's talk about the surprises. What happened during the fight at the airport?
Yeah.
Because let me tell you one thing. Black Widow should have got her shit together and decide because when she
I
decided
didn't like how
right
she
there,
betrayed
she
him.
betrayed him,
Stupid.
and I'm like,
Right.
you could have really get your shit together, and then you could have, but
Her whole reasoning for siding with Tony was because she wanted everybody to stay together.
Yeah.
So I understand, like, at that point in time when she saw everybody fighting, it was more of her being okay, like that, like there's no hope for them staying together.
Oh.
I just have to go with my heart. Like she wanted to, the team to stay together, but she was really with Cap, like the entire time. Like she was buddies with Cap. And
She should have
was
stuck with
buddies
Buttons
Panther.
side in the beginning then. Like, I don't like how she just
No,
traded. She should have
Well, again, it's all like if Tony could, if they could be together, like
I see what
on
you're
the
trying to
same
say. If
time,
Tony
like,
could have, he thought Tony could
If he
start
could've-
him and
if he could have like stuck together with everybody, he would have. But the right thing in their minds to do was to make the right decision and follow this law. Follow this law that 117 or 120 whatever countries
No, the whole,
all
yeah,
agreed
UN,
on.
the whole
Like if
UN.
the whole if most of the world wants you to do something and is asking you to do something so they can feel safe, like don't you think as a superhero the whole point is to make everybody feel safe? Like you don't want to be feared by all these people, so going against them makes absolutely no sense. Like if you're going against this accord, you're going against the people and the people who you're fighting for to begin with. So honestly, like Black Widow's her mentality was good for me in the beginning, where she was like, we just need to gain their trust again, and then we can work on making amends. And even Tony Stark was like, we can make amends to this accord, we can fix it up, but
Yeah,
first
as we
we
go.
all need to be on the same page and group together and be this team that we claim to be. And he was having none of it. Cap was having none of it.
I cannot help the fact that seriously, Black Panther should have just bitch slapped Black Widow. I'm sorry, but
That's
made me
messed up.
mad. That got me mad because why?
He should have hit her.
Why?
Like, I thought he was.
I mean, it's not hard.
She was
She
all on
had
his
it coming.
team,
She deserved
and all of a
it.
sudden she shot him with, like, electrical bolts.
That made me
She didn't
mad.
kill anybody in this film. Did you notice
No.
that?
Mm-mm.
In all the other movies she's been in, she uses a handgun and shoots the shit out of everybody.
Well, on the other ones, she's primarily with S.H.I.E.L.D. This one, she's more with the Avengers, like, working beside them. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, you're right. Well, it's right, but still, she still has guns because Falcon used guns.
yeah.
He shot
did.
people with
He
rockets and
definitely
everything.
did.
His suit's
True.
pretty cool. He got a pretty good upgrade.
But Hawkeye,
Oh.
like I want to say, Hawkeye also used non-lethal arrows.
He didn't shoot any. Well, he shot arrows that were lethal, but he knew they were gonna dodge it. He
No,
knew he
well, I
couldn't
think
hurt.
because I was reading something, I think they actually did like make non-lethal weapons, like all for Hawkeye, because he was only in the fight because Cap asked him to, and I think he felt like this sort of obligation to Wanda because he felt responsible for her brother's death. So I think that's the only reason that he was there.
Okay.
So I didn't think, like, again, it's internal conflict where none of them want to hurt each other in
Yeah.
the beginning. At the end, they beat the shit out of each other, but like.
Yeah, okay, let's jump to the end of that fight because we're running kind of out of time. Not really out of time, but we're getting close to that point. The end fight. If you've seen the trailer, Captain America and Winter Soldier / Bucky Barnes fight Iron Man. The whole conflict that doesn't stem from the Soviet Accords. They mended that. He realized Bucky Barnes got framed. He went there to help him. They met Baron von Zemos, who's actually Colonel Zemos, which I think was kind of. He's not recognizable as his character in the comic book. He wears a purple sock over his face, has a sword. He's a lot more cool. This one he's just a regular guy from Sokovia. They didn't make him fucking German. I thought it was stupid. I like the actor though. Daniel Bruhl was pretty good. He had a good reason. His like mind game, chess game to set up the whole thing was really cool. I liked it. But when they got to the thing, like they made amends and they got there, like we're just gonna hunt Baron von Zemos down. Baron von Zemos shot all the other. There's 5 of the Winter Soldiers that are supposed to be stronger than Bucky. He shot them while they were sleeping in their ice tanks.
Yeah.
So that ended that. And I was like, why are they gonna fight? I was confused. And then they showed the video of Bucky Barnes' assassination from 1991, September 1991. When he was Winter Soldier, he shot Tony Stark's dad, Howard Stark,
and he strangled his mom.
And yeah, he strangled his mom. He shot the car. They crashed. He took the super soldier serum that he gave to the Winter Soldiers. In the beginning, it doesn't show who it is, but I knew. I was like, that's fucking Tony Stark's dad.
Yeah.
And especially when he opened the suitcase and it wasn't a cosmic cube. It had the blood pack. That's a super soldier serum.
And they followed it up with young Tony reliving how his parents died.
And his parents left too.
Yeah, they said
that was kind of cool CGI.
That was pretty cool.
And okay, so the fight happened. Once Tony Stark saw that, he obviously got pissed. Like, you killed my fucking parents. And he was like, and Captain America, look, he didn't know he was under control of another person.
No,
he was like, did you know? And Captain America was like, well, kind of. He's like, no, don't give me that shit. He's like, did you know? He's like, yeah, I did. And then immediately was like, look, get out of here. Fuck, I'm about to kill Winter Soldier. And he's like, look, I can't let you do that. And that's how the fight happened.
And then Tony's like, I really don't give a fuck.
He's like, I don't give a damn. He killed him. He's gonna kill him now. That's what started the fight. The problem I had with the fight is, like I said, Iron Man is Iron Man. He stops tanks. His suit's like a whole like 1 ton of titanium gold alloy that it's fucking strong as shit. Captain America's punches, bare hands are hurting him. I understand Bucky's arm hurt. It's made of vibranium. Yeah. That made sense. There was one point in there when Bucky was ripping off his the
arc reactor. Yeah.
But he was holding him back with his bare hand. I was like, no, that's not how that works. He had a bare hand. He was like holding it back and he was ripping it off. I was like, no, he should just break his arm. That doesn't make any sense. And the Captain America thing, he's like I say, punch with bare hands was really stupid. Captain America wins the fight. In the comic book, Vision is the one who turned his powers off. Vision stuck his hand through Tony Stark and he says his suit is compromised. It turned it off, which made Captain America be able to beat the shit out of Tony Stark in there, which was really stupid. In the comic book, it was a lot better because Tony Stark beat the shit out of Iron Man Captain America the first time, got away, and then the second time he whooped his ass again until Vision stepped in. This one he didn't whoop his ass really, but then he ended up beating him up, and I was like, that didn't make any sense. The fight wasn't bad, like action sequence wise.
It was pretty intense.
It was pretty fucking intense, and the scene when he's shooting the laser and he's blocking the shield,
awesome.
It's taken directly from the comic book, really cool. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you see, Tony Stark, the fact that he's ready for action though, because look, when his brainwashing started to act up again, and he was already fighting everybody, and like Tony didn't hold back. He only had like one glove of the Iron Man suit, like watch Tony right at that moment. Come on, he had no armor, only one hand. He knew what he was getting into, but I'm glad that he just jumped in there. See, I still consider him I still consider him as a hero because when he just stepped in, screw it, good enough. Just got one glove.
Oh, that was kind of cool.
He just went up on going against Winter Soldier, like a metal fucking arm, saying, "No, I only have one glove. That's good enough for me."
Yeah, the containment scene was pretty cool.
That was good. That was cool though. But I do think that what's called the Winter Soldier. I don't know if he will. What else he's gonna do? Because I was wondering for a long time. No offense, but besides figuring out looking for the what's called again, the soldiers.
Other Winter. They're called other Winter Soldiers.
Other Winter Soldiers. Yeah. I don't know what they were gonna do because I was so confused about the bad guy.
I was confused what they were gonna do too.
Because the bad guy was looking for the Winter Soldiers, but aren't those old Winter Soldiers good though?
No, they're evil.
They're bad.
They're bad. They're working for Hydra. Hydra was training them. Remember, they were training them in the facility, and they went rogue and started ripping people apart. And he was like, "Get me out of here!" They were bad, and Baron
That
von
was a cool little
Zemo's.
scene too, like the
That was
origin.
the origins of where they came from. Baron von Zemo twist was kind of cool. I didn't like how they changed it from the comic book so much, but it was kind of cool how he wasn't really trying to destroy the world. He was trying to take down what was left of Hydra and destroy the Avengers in the process because he blamed them for all the things, which we didn't get to. It was not their fucking fault. Ultron was gonna drop the city anyway. If you had two options: destroy the world. That's what Ultron's goal was: the world, or destroy Sokovia. That's it. There was no option. Now Tony Stark should feel bad because he created Ultron and left a snowball effect. Nobody else should feel bad.
He even said, he admitted it. He said, that was my fault.
Avengers shouldn't feel bad. Like, look, we couldn't do anything about it. We either, unless we went back in time and killed Tony before we made Ultron. That's it. That's the only option you got. But we just stopped what we stopped was already in motion. He shouldn't have been really. But
I also want to say, like, when the first scene where the Winter Soldier was fighting against Natasha, Black Widow, like she even like when she was getting like choked out, she's like, you can at least remember me. But they never like basically it was insinuating that they knew each other back in the day, like. Because she says you can at least recognize me, is what she said.
Yeah, that kind of struck me weird because they didn't really know each other in Winter Soldier. They didn't have too much
that
conversation.
wasn't it. I think that before, like when she was in her Red Room stage and training, because they're both like they both know Russian and they're both doing.
They sure do know each other because she told Cap about Russian soldiers. She was like, he's called Winter Soldier.
Trained, I think, Natasha Romanoff. That was someone that she kind of looked up to, like for guidance and whatever. But like they didn't expand on that. They never expanded on that. They never had. Black Widow say anything else about it, not even to like when she was face to face with Bucky or when she was face to face with anybody else. It was more like, don't you recognize me? And then they just left it. Like,
I didn't make that connection. I thought he was talking about the Winter Soldier. I'm like, they barely knew each other. I was like, oh well, like I fucking glossed over it. I didn't see that.
No, you know what? Let me talk about Tony's mistakes because I'm on his side, but we have to talk about his mistake. He created Ultron.
That was a big mistake.
He just I don't know. He went straight to fighting without even talking to Captain America about Bucky, about him getting framed. Because I don't.
Oh, when he got
yeah, and then because in the comic. He goes way beyond mistakes there by creating a fake Thor in there.
Oh and he killed a Goliath. They echoed that by paralyzing War Machine. They paralyzed him.
And then,
I feel so bad for that scene because I just
and he's crippled. He makes like braces so he can walk. He can barely walk though.
Barely.
Tony Stank. He's like, are you Tony Stank? It was a Stan Lee cameo. That was actually good.
Oh, finally, I was wondering. I was looking for him.
Are you Tony Stank?
Yeah. I was like, why everybody's not cheering? And people, I'm like, oh,
that shit was hilarious. That was funny.
Skipping to that, like. Everybody at the Avengers compound, it's just War Machine, it's just Tony Stark, and it's just Vision.
That's another thing. What's going to happen now? The Avengers are literally done. Like, there's no more Avengers. And then Tony, and the ones that are captured...
they got captured in the prison.
But no, we broke them out.
No, they got captured in this prison, and, like, Clint Barton, like, Hawkeye was just so pissed off at Tony, and, like, everybody was just so mad at Tony, but, Tony was trying to defend himself and say, I didn't put you here. It was the government. Like, I didn't know that this would happen, but at the same time, you guys went against this accord that the entire world is going with. And at the end, Cap does at the very end scene that we should talk about is that he goes to I don't know where Black Panther originates from. Okay.
Wakanda's where he originated. Yeah. Okay. You're talking about the post-credit scenes now.
Yeah. Post-credit scene because I think we should definitely get to that.
Yeah, we're almost out of time.
Cap asks, since you said they were wealthy, the Wakandans were very wealthy.
I think he's actually richer than Tony Stark in the series. And,
Cap goes to T'Challa for help
for exile. He wants to keep him there.
Yeah, to basically put Winter Soldier back in his state,
in the cryogenic state, so they can find out how to fix his head, so he won't be triggered anymore.
By the way, Bucky loses his arm.
He loses his metal arm. Yeah. The coolest part about him is gone. It got blown off by Iron Man during their fight.
Yeah. But he asked him to put him in this cryogenic state, and he says, if they know that you're keeping him here, they're gonna come after you. So 2 things about that. It's like. 1, it's setting up for the Black Panther movie.
Yeah,
2, Cap makes it sound like his team isn't going to be staying in Wakanda. He says if they find out that you have basically you're on your own, like they're gonna come after you, like that's kind of. And so he makes it sound like they're staying somewhere else, and so that makes you wonder where is like because Cap breaks all of his team out of the prison, and Tony Stark completely. And this is what I like about it because at the end of the movie, Tony Stark, the senator guy or whatever, like calls him and like
General Thunderbolt Ross, the original from the original
Ross,
Incredible Hulk.
Ross calls him, is like, hey, and then he's like, nah, hold, because he knows what's happening, and he's like, I'm just gonna let it happen because at this point, like, again, I am with my team in the end, and so he lets Cap basically break everyone out of jail, and so now Cap is traveling with Ant-Man, he's traveling with Scarlet Witch, and he's traveling with Sam Wilson and Sharon Carter, and like it makes you wonder like
how it's gonna go, like what's gonna happen.
Like they're all separated, and Cap leaves them Tony with a flip phone that says if you ever need us, call us. So that's how they're gonna keep in touch like later if they need them. But like like how are they gonna be the Avengers when they come together? They're gonna be apart for so long, and like it doesn't make any sense. And like where are they gonna stay?
I think that was set up for Infinity War.
Yeah, that's what I think.
But another problem is Chris Evans has 2 more movies on his contract. We're going to real life and Infinity War, so he can't be anything else, literally. I mean, maybe making for a cameo, but he can't be anything else. Yeah. So I'm a little curious about that.
He says that he's gonna pass the shield.
Yeah, he's gonna pass it. That's what I was thinking. Why not give it to Bucky, whose arm is gone and he's frozen though? I don't understand that part. But I don't think they're gonna do the Black Falcon, Captain America. And currently in the comic book, Falcon is he's a Captain America. They're not gonna do that. That's a guarantee. They don't think they'd ever take that route. Fuck, I had something that you said and I was thinking of.
Like where they're staying, how they're apart.
Yeah, how is that gonna work? I don't understand that. Like, and
neither do I.
With the comic book, remember when they were in prison and Clint was talking all that shit to Tony?
Yeah.
He's calling him like the traitor.
Yeah.
I wish they didn't include Punisher and Daredevil in this comic book.
No, they didn't.
We didn't talk about this. We're really close out of time. Punisher and Daredevil did have a big part. He did what Clinton did. He called him a traitor, gave him a piece of silver that he kept on his tongue. It looked stupid. I don't want that. He's like, here's your 32 pieces of gold, Judas. Alluding to the Bible, Judas betraying Jesus. That was a cool moment, and I wish they had put that in there because Daredevil is an established character and he's under Marvel, just in a TV series. Wish they had put him in there, but they didn't. Punisher wasn't established when they finished his film, so they couldn't put Punisher in there. But in the comic book, Punisher, nobody wants him on their team. No. He's a psychopath that nobody wants. They didn't go the regular vigilante. He just fucking kills everything that wears a supervillain symbol. Captain America reluctantly lets him on his team because he saves Spider-Man, and he has information how to get into the compound that Tony is holding all the supervillains that are under the Registration Act that he arrested. So he gets them out of there. They do a successful mission, and by this time Tony had recruited villains, which everybody frowns upon. It shows how desperate he is and how desperate he wants to win. Now, with Punisher being on Captain America's side, Captain America goes, we'll take the same thing. He's like, we'll introduce 2 villains, and they're like B-list villains. I can't think of their fucking name. They walk out and they're like, I know we've had our differences. We're bad guys, but we promise to give everything we can. They get blown the fuck away.
Oh yeah,
by Punisher. They get shot. They get their heads blown off. Everybody looks at Punisher and he's like, what? And he's like, because it's not that he kills people. That's it. The bad guy. He does not want to join Tony Stark because villains are villains to him. It doesn't matter if you are
have a change of heart.
You have a change of heart. You were a villain. Punisher blew them the fuck away. They weren't going to include that in the movie though. I wish they would have. That would have been a funny scene to keep in there.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last thing we can talk about now because we're done. The last scene, the very last scene, the post-credit scene. We talked about this scene didn't add anything. The one about Black Panther and keeping Bucky was the mid credit, the one that you wait after everybody's name is said. And then the last scene. If you want to wait for this, it's stupid. We're gonna spoil it for you now. It's just Spider-Man, and he has a watch that was given to him by Tony Stark, and all it does is open the spider symbol on the roof. And in the comic books, the original comic books, he has it on his utility belt that he uses kind of like Batman does. He shines, and people get afraid of the symbol, and he swoops down and beats them up. Or he uses a regular flashlight, and then later on in the most current comic books that uses it, it's like a UV light that shows detective work. It shows like fluids and stuff like that people use to detect stuff. I think in this one it was trying to imply something. I thought it was going to show the the iron spider suit that he made for him or something. It didn't do that. Like I said, it was a symbol, but I think there was like little tabs along that you can click
on the edge of it,
on the edge that I think, but it didn't open nothing. It showed like the cursor moving. I think there might imply that there's going to be an iron spider suit, and then it said Spider-Man will return. I think that was stupid and a waste of time.
No, look, this Spider-Man the comic was much more better. No, I hate him. Like, get out of here, you CGI little kid.
I think, like I said, I think they'll fix it. It's just that they were in a rush and they got the rights and just threw them in there at the last second. I think that's literally all it was.
Yeah.
It's the only problem. Like, I forgive you, Marvel. Gabriel holds a grudge against you. I think it's okay. You didn't pull BBS and put fucking what's his face in Doomsday to fucking ruin him.
Yeah.
You did a good job with Spider-Man. I forgive you.
I like it. Yeah.
She likes it.
Like
you take it out on him. Don't let him in your movies no more, Marvel.
Yeah. Overall, comics had a better reason for them to fight. Movie, not so much. Comics, like 900 people died in this one big event with half a school was destroyed and the other half, like there was a bunch of kids dying, and also the reason for that destruction was these rogue Inhuman, like the rogue metahuman.
It was the Young Hero team.
Yeah.
And they weren't ready. They were trying to get ratings, and they weren't ready. TV shows. And then they even say, like, these bad guys, we can't handle. They're like, nah, we'll get good ratings. It'll be entertaining. And they ran in half-cocked. And they beat up all the villains except for one named Nitro. I don't know who his villain he is, but he's in this one. He's like really fucking strong.
Yeah.
He caused a nuclear explosion that took out the whole block. That killed 600. Yeah, it killed a school next door. It actually shows the outline of kids being like evaporated. Pretty fucked up. And that's what brought up in the comic book, which is a better explanation. I think it's way better because
why they want restrictions on.
Because a lot of the heroes don't have training. The Avengers do. The Avengers have their own tower. They have their own place to train. The X-Men have their own place to train, which they're not really in this. They're neutral. But there's so many subsections of teams. There's like the Young Avengers, the Southwest Avengers. They don't have funding. They don't practice every day. They don't go out. They don't go to like a danger room and practice within a confine. They're learning as they go, and that's what the whole Registration Act was like. We need to get these people some good training. Yep. That's why Captain America had that's why Iron Man had a good point in the comic book. Yeah. He was like, these people need to be trained. We're letting little kids, like there's a 15-year-old right now with the power to fucking destroy planets as he moves. We can't let this guy run around.
Exactly.
He's a good guy. But in this one, in the movie,
in the movie, it just seemed like we're gonna all put you in jail.
We're just gonna put you in jail. It was so stupid.
Like, in the comics, it was more.
Nothing was the Avengers' fault at all in the movies. It was all the villains' fault, and the Avengers just happened to be there to stop them. Yeah. They didn't bring the aliens from the first Avengers. It wasn't. They didn't bring the aliens to them. The aliens came to take the cube. They were just there to stop them. It wasn't their fault. Age of Ultron, it was Tony's fault, but the Avengers, the Winter Soldier was not their fucking fault. It just happened that Hydra, the thing that started back before when the Nazis, which nobody started but Adolf Hitler. If you want to attribute anyway, it's Adolf Hitler's fault for making the Nazis. They infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. and brought down the helicarriers and stuff like that. Nothing is their fault. Yeah. But they just needed somebody to blame. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I like the comic book better. Yeah. I like Winter Soldier better. This movie's not terrible. 8.5 out of me.
9.
Winter Soldier's better. Gabriel, any last thoughts? We're really out of time.
Like I said, I do give more respects to this Spider-Man in the comic because, like I said, the comic only, not the movie. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, Spider-Man. Okay. Because when he sided with Tony, it was his choice, not like, oh my god, it was Iron Man. Get the fuck out of here.
And also in the comics, he did go to Cap's side. Like, there was so much switching. Like Black Panther,
right there.
Hawkeye went to Iron Man's side, and then Black Panther went to Cap's side. Yeah. Like everyone, it was completely flip flopped, and in the end, Black Panther was with Cap. But anyway.
Yeah, but I look at Spider-Man. I give him props because on the comic only, on comic. Just so you know that he actually revealed his identity in the comic.
Yeah, he did. He had a bigger role.
It showed that he was responsible. He was smart there, and his support for him was basically, his right choice in head. Yeah. Although he got beat up really badly because of that.
Yeah,
he got beat up.
Okay, that is all the time we had. We didn't get to compare it to BVS. Maybe we might make a separate. I think we'll make a separate video. I really want to do that. We'll get to it. Whatever. Thank you for watching, and we will have another review next week, hopefully for a different movie. So, and please tune in next time.